huge welcome, everybody, to today's very exciting launch of our brand new initiative, Trailblazers. It's an initiative that's more than an award, and in today's D&I landscape, where lots of people are interested in ticking boxes with no view of impact or how it affects the lived experience of people within the firm, it's important that we're delighted to be involved with this. It's lunchtime, so feel free to eat and drink. Today's event will close roughly around 1:15. I'm Raj Tulsiani, Chief Executive of Green Park, and along with Javed Thomas, the co-founder of Race Equality Matters. We've got apologies for absence for our Green Park Chair, Sir Trevor Phillips, and our Green Park Foundation Chair, Colin Salmon. Unfortunately, neither can be with us today. We're also joined today by the behind-the-scenes teams at REM, some very special guests who I'll introduce later on. Today's session will hopefully be fast-paced and will explain why Trailblazers was created, its importance, and the impact we're hoping it will have. There'll be some polls. Those of you familiar with Race Equality Matters events knows that we always like to kind of give people a flavour of what's happening on the ground in real time. We'll then go through how organisations can achieve Trailblazer status, how it's determined. We'll also be announcing the first wave of Trailblazers, and if time permitting, there'll be a small Q&A at the end. I will apologise, I can't be here for the whole event, but I'm sure Javed and the team will be able to deal with the Q&A. So next slide. So for those of you who are new to Race Equality Matters and our event, a big welcome, thank you. Race Equality Matters is a not-for-profit, and it aims to be a catalyst to move organisations and individuals from just talking about race to real meaningful actions that have a measurable impact on people's lived experience and the trust people have in the brands that they work for. That's one of the key reasons why Trailblazers was created. We co-create concepts and solutions and collaborations with those with lived experience of racial inequality, and that can be chairs of race equality or race networks, of which we've got about 1,500 in the network, allies, business leaders, diverse board leaders, etc. So there's a real broad church here, including some HR and D&I professionals, in the 3.5 million people we try to impact every February in Race Equality Week. The key step is to help organisations make the impact we all want to see and feel, often moving them from having the will to do something to providing them with insight and skills, so what they do lands and makes a difference. Our solutions, of which you can find more about on our website, include Race Equality Week, The Big Promise, Tea Break, My Name Is, which is all about the importance of pronouncing other people's names correctly and tackling microaggressions that come from that. And that, I believe, had 1.75 billion online hits in its first month. A Safe Space, that's a product that enables brave conversations, uncomfortable discussions, but more importantly, to keep that action focus. So it doesn't, it creates the right level of challenge and threat, but doesn't make things so difficult that people return to kind of vanilla conversations where actually what they're trying to do is protect personal brands. So all of these things are made with the sole aim of unblocking organizations who want to use and create more equal playing fields within their organisations. We also have a newly launched Race Equality Matters job board, and its purpose is to connect employers with greater pools of ethnically diverse talent and ensure that the talent pool is aware of those organisations that are striving for greater diversity and inclusion. So a great thank you for joining us today. Anyone here today will receive a special offer for any jobs they will wish to post in the next couple of weeks. And finally, onto the business of the day, Trailblazers. That's the reason we're all here. All of this would not have been possible without the support of our partners. So a big thank you from us. I'm proud of Green Park's and the Collaboratory's commitment and support of the lifetime visionary partner, British Telecom, and our other founding partners, Auto Trader, Edelman, the Data Marketing Association, and HS2. Their support means that you can access, or individuals can always access, the solution resources for free. It is a principle of our organisation that money should not get in the way of individuals really wanting to make a difference within their organisation. And what we're trying to do is say, here's good practice, it's proven to work, here's a way of using it yourself. But we are a not-for-profit, we're very keen and indeed in need of further funding. So if your organisation would like to get involved, please do get in touch to find out more. So once again, principle free for individuals, organisations can get behind it with their pockets. So next slide, a little bit of housekeeping quickly. We're recording this event for you to access later on, along with the slides. If you have questions along the way, please do post them in the chat and we'll do our best to answer them. Your sound will be auto-disabled. Please do feel free to tweet and post on social media content during or after the event. You'll see our handles on the right. We'll be showcasing all organisations who achieve Trailblazer status across our social media profiles. So do make sure you are following them. And then before we start, we're going to get into a very quick poll.
So the first results coming through here. As we can see, 55% of us identify as ethnic minority or appropriate equivalent, and 45% of allies. So yeah, a normal, fantastic mix of representation, which is really important. In your organisation, as you can see, 49% here today are D&I leads or D&I colleagues, 22% senior leaders, 20% race network leads, and 17% race network members. So question 3, why have you joined today's event? So 73% to learn what I can do in my organisation, 51% to be inspired by others' success, and 40% find out how to apply for Trailblazer status. So we'll be touching on all these elements and explaining how we can support you with these responses after the event. Question 4, do you feel your leaders and managers are committed to tackling race inequality? So 66% are saying yes, and I think as you would have heard at yesterday's event, we typically get between 60 and 70%. So again, that's quite consistent, which is positive. 21% unsure, so maybe there needs to be some communication, different communication going on then. Question 5, how is your organisation addressing race inequality? A really important question to us. So only 33%, so that's 1 in 3, focuses on action, not just words. So that's 67%, you know, is talks and does a little bit of action to less, and there's still 12% just talks and does little. Question 6, do you feel your leaders and managers are comfortable talking about race? Again, consistently, you know, within the 20s, 26% or only 26%, should I say, are comfortable or very comfortable talking about race. And I guess this 2 years on shows still a long way to go. Have you implemented one of the Race Equality Matters solutions? We understand that the button wasn't allowing multi-choice, so yeah, we can ignore them figures. Question 8, when using or hearing a collective term, please select any you feel appropriate. So we know this is so many views on what's right or appropriate, and also what's wrong. But as you can see, 63% say ethnically diverse, and then it looks like 37% people from ethnic minority backgrounds or people of colour, 33%. So I guess ethnically diverse is the most standout one there. And 31%, the term that's been around for quite a while, saying BAME. And number 9, do you follow race equality matters on social media? So 44%, so nearly 1 in 2 of you do, but 38% no, but will in the future. So that'd be fantastic. And this is how you hear all about what's in the pipeline and how we can support you and your organisations. So thank you for taking your time on that poll. So Trailblazers, the question is, what is it and what are they? Firstly, they are more, or it is more than an award. For far too long, progress in tackling race inequality has been too slow. That's what we hear every day. The evidence from those with lived experience is clear. There's been a lot of talk, but limited meaningful action by organisations that's making an impact. Trailblazer is designed to recognise and identify those organizations that are driving change that is having this impact we want to see and feel. If we go to the next slide, please. There's this wonderful quote by one of the judging panelists, which sums up the award. Race equality matters Trailblazers, which shine a light on organizations who are tackling racial inequality with effective methods. This subsequently helps create a standard and repository for good practice, which can help other organizations in their journey to become anti-racist. It is important to also have this status, as it can help attract diverse talent and show what tangible actions organizations are taking to create an inclusive environment. So that's feedback from one of the judges, having read everyone's applications. As a number of the co-creators said, it is setting a bar that is not low, and it will accelerate progress. It is a standard setter, it will be an educational tool, and it's a marketing tool. But fundamentally, it's a way of recognizing what actually works, what has an impact to drive for race equality, so that more organizations can now look to follow in the footsteps of the Trailblazers. And again, for evidence your stakeholders, for employees and future employees, for your customers, for your clients, your shareholders, investors, and your community. So when we were building the concept with those links, we said, if an organization had Trailblazer status, it'd be more attractive to me as an investor or as an employee or as a customer. Next slide, please. So here are some of the assets successful Trailblazers get. So there'll be a certificate, there'll be an official letter, and there's other assets which you can use on your social media, plus also on your publications, your review. These are some of the success becoming a recognized Trailblazer. Next slide. There are two types of Trailblazer status. The first is successfully run a race equality matters solution. So it's not just running it, but it's running it in a way that has an impact. And we have a free how to do it right guide and workshops that shows you to do it. You can apply to be a solution of Trailblazer for each solution of your run. So whether it's Safe Space, Tea Break, My Name Is, or Big Promise. Once you get this, it's a lifelong recognition. It's yours forever. The second type of Trailblazer status, which would be on the next slide, covers both. You could have done a race equality matter solution and or your own activity, because we know there's loads of other things out there to tackle race inequality. Because we recognize that other solution initiatives could work, and we want to see what they are and then share them with others and shine a light on the ones that work and the organizations that are running these things. You initially apply to achieve bronze status, and then in time it goes to silver, and then you go to gold and platinum. I guess it's like gymnastics, swimming, karate. You know, you start at a certain level. I think it's yellow in karate, and then you go up. That's the idea of it. You don't go straight in at platinum. These Trailblazer Awards, though, are time limited. This is to ensure that once you've got the status, to keep the momentum going, and you don't live off the award and do nothing else, you have to make progress. It's a story we hear too often. You know, there's a lot of noise. 2 years ago, there's a lot of noise and activity, but the feedback we're getting, you saw it in the poll earlier, you know, things aren't moving like they should. Hence, within 6 to 18 months, organizations are required to demonstrate that more action and impact has been made. The higher levels, awards, gold and platinum, may take a few years to get to, because we know it's not going to happen overnight, but it's designed to encourage continuous improvement over a significant period of time. Because addressing race equality needs to be ongoing and not a series of one-off or a 1 day or a 1 month. Next slide, please. So the question you'll all be asking is, how do you actually apply to become a Race Equality Matters Trailblazer? So here's sort of a abridged version of the stages. In a nutshell, the process begins. You need to register your interest. We only have capacity to process so many. So register your interest. The second stage is to submit your applications via an online form. We'll provide guidance once you register your interest on the key criteria the judges are looking for, and the judges decide what they are looking for, and you'll hear from Jen and Shirley soon for examples. You can also submit a video application or any other evidence to support the application. There is also the option for an application that focuses on the impact your organization may have done outside, externally, on driving race equality in a wider sphere. So again, there are a lot of ways to show that you're making an impact. Then what happens? Initially, there's a long listing, and then each application is reviewed. And then each application is then reviewed and scored by independent judging panelists. They'll all have diverse experiences, backgrounds, different sectors, but all identify as ethnically diverse. So they will look at it independently in their own time and their own space to remove the risk of any biases. And also the applications are kept anonymous. So they will get Organisation X, retail sector, 5,000 plus staff. That's all they get to see relevant to that organisation. As I said, the judges score them in isolation, and then it's assessed from a score from 0 to 5. 0 being no evidence at all, 5 strong and clear evidence. It's all about, we want to know what you did, but what impact has it had and where's the evidence behind it? We also need to know, is the voice and is the opinion or the feedback from ethnically diverse colleagues in this? The scores are then amalgamated and put through an algorithm, and it will give one of 3 outcomes. Trailblazer status, borderline, or currently do not meet the criteria. Applications which are judged to be borderline will be invited for a second opportunity to expand on the application, addressing the areas that has been identified they may have fallen slightly short in. So they can turn it around pretty quick by filling in the gaps, or they might realize, no, they need a bit more time to address the observations. In a sec, we'll hear from a couple of our current judging panelists, and later you'll find out more about their role in the process. It is this panel of judges who decide which organisations are making genuine and impactful inroads into tackling race inequality and then deserve the Trailblazer accreditation mark. Now, Race Equality Matters team do not involve in this. We just pass it on anonymously, and the judges across the country score it in their own time. As a result, the scores are amalgamated, and then it comes up with a chart which shows, green is a really strong score, orange is in this case is good evidence, and then fair evidence, etc. So on each of the questions, there'll be these scores, and it goes through an algorithm to say whether you pass, borderline, or not. The judges are integral to this, and they're the drive for race equality. We don't tell them what good looks like. It's their own opinion, whether an organisation submitted something, whether they think it's valid, and whether they think the voice of their ethnic diverse employees is included. So we have to have, say, huge thanks, as together they have triumphed over huge workloads. Someone had newborn twins and still judged. Some people had COVID, and they were very tight turnarounds to some of the challenges they faced. So we have to thank them tons. But they have done so because they believe Trailblazers is so important and they want to be part of this journey. Finally, we can't stress enough how much everyone's professionalism, commitment and good humour has been appreciated when dealing with this inaugural round of Trailblazers. They've been putting up with a lot of chaos behind the scenes, and I apologise for that. The success rate for this round of applications is 64%. So that demonstrates the judges took this judging very seriously. And can we just show a quick video, please, introducing the judges?
And the judges are Anthony Francis, Yvonne Okio, Alexandra Maria, Amma Afrifa-Chi, Leon Owusu, Denise McCausland, Wali Rahman, Mark Lomas, Z Razak, Carl George, Sonia Hazel, Pepe Sapal, Ty Handley, Bernard Bruce, Naomi Benjamin, Munish Tayal, Jenna Bamiro, Shirley Asiedu, Elizabeth Cameron, Fahana Kudus, Millie Patel, Lydia Igwe, Lee Chambers.
Thank you. So I'd like to introduce to a couple of our judges, Jenna Bamiro and Shirley Asiedu. Jenna's from a capital reporting analyst at Santander, and Shirley is a bid writer for Seeds for Impact. So if we just unmute yourself, please, Jenna, and if you can come on screen. Thank you. So firstly, Jenna, why did you decide to become a judge? Because you're a very busy person and lots of things to choose to do. So why become a judge?
Well, firstly, Javid, you asked me and you're very persuasive. So I was happy to be involved. I've been involved with the charity for over a year now, I think, volunteering, ever since the death of George Floyd. That was a real catalyst for me to sort of be more active and involved in making a real change. I just really want to improve society for my children and future generations. And I was also just really interested to see what initiatives were coming out of different businesses, just from my own learning, just to understand what's working within organisations, to see what the feedback is from different employees.
Thank you. And why do you think the concept of Trailblazers is important?
I think it's really important to recognise and celebrate organisations that are trying to stand themselves apart from the norm, and just really trying to make diversity inclusion one of their top objectives. And also just to keep the momentum going for businesses, to keep this issue as a top priority, because obviously there's lots of distractions with other issues. So yeah.
Thank you. And a key question loads of people will be asking. So as a judge, what were you looking for to determine whether an organisation is a trailblazer?
So personally for myself, there was kind of two areas that I was looking at. So I was trying to see sort of how organisations are trying to get involved and understand what the issues are with racial diversity, and really try and tackle those issues and understand what the racial barriers are within their business. And then secondly, I was wanting to see something that's a bit more quantitative, you know, i.e. seeing sort of Black and ethnic minority recruitment increasing across all levels, especially senior management, seeing D&I staffing levels reflective of the size of the business, and just evidence that they're really trying to close those sort of ethnicity pay gaps, understand what the disparities are, and just really coming up with a plan of making significant changes.
Thank you. And what did you learn from the experience of being a judge?
So I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of statistics that are quite disappointing, sort of statistics that you've shared on some of your events. The fact that there's no Black CEO and CFOs within the top FTSE 100 companies. So that's quite a depressing statistic for me. And that's definitely something that I want to see change. I'm definitely hopeful that things will change. They seem to be moving in the right direction, but albeit a little bit slowly sometimes. In terms of what I learnt, it made me kind of ask myself the question as to what do I consider an organisation to be really diverse and inclusive, because it's not really something that I've seen, and sort of how to make judgments fairly sort of from large organisations versus a small business, just making sure that I judge, you know, on the different scales. But it was definitely really encouraging to hear how a lot of the race equality matter events and workshops have been implemented sort of in practice, and just hearing some of the positive feedback that came back from employees, and just hearing about different recruitment initiatives, such as how to remove racial bias and that sort of thing. So it was really interesting.
Yeah, thank you. And top line, why do you think organisations should apply for Trailblazer status?
I think it's just a great way of businesses highlighting the importance of race equality and also creating awareness. It also shows their employees and potential customers that race inequality is an issue that they care about. From a business perspective, it could make you more competitive, that you're kind of standing out from your competitors by being a trailblazer. And also it could help attract talent from sort of all backgrounds, not just Black and ethnic minority. You know, everybody wants to be working within a business that sort of puts, you know, equality sort of at the forefront of their business. So that's why I think organisations should apply.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Jenna. And Shirley, if again, a very personal decision, and why did you decide to become a judge? And thank you, Jenna.
Well, obviously, I've been doing a bit of work with you on race equality matters for some time. And for me, I set up my own company, Seeds for Impact, to work with organizations that make a difference. And that was born from me previously working within another company where I was told by senior management that I wasn't director material. And to me, that was a bit of an impact on, you know, on how I felt about being somebody who looks different. But yeah, it primarily started from the George Floyd murder, where I felt that I felt very helpless. I saw people going out on the streets, during COVID, and I felt I shouldn't go out because of COVID. So when I was approached, I felt that was my opportunity. Because one thing I've always feared is what my kids will ask me in the future. What did I do when all of the protests were going on? So that was my opportunity. So thank you for inviting me.
Brilliant, thank you. And why do you think the concept of Trailblazers is important?
So for a long time, we know that companies have been signing charters and drawing up policies and stating that they're equal opportunities employers, and that's all words. And so with Trailblazers, which focuses on actions, I just felt that is what we need. That is what we need right now, the change. But then it also reminds me about somebody running on a trail, where you hit the dips and the rocky paths. It's not an easy thing to do. So any company that does get Trailblazer status has to be really highly commended. But it also reminds me of being on a podium. When you do get to Trailblazer status, you are on a podium encouraging other people to come onto that podium as well. So yeah, it's for me, that's quite key.
Yeah, I think it's all about bringing other people along the journey. So I do appreciate that. Thank you. And what were you looking to determine when you were judging? What were you looking for to determine whether an organisation should be considered Trailblazer status?
So I wanted to know what actions companies were taking, and they've been so varied, and that's been encouraging. But for me, it was also the evidence. A lot of the applications had evidence, with the stats and numbers that showed the differences that were the achievements that they were making. But what was very important for me was getting, an idea of the impact that was, impact on ethnic minority staff within the companies, and how they've been empowered as part of the journey, if you like. So I needed to see that validation from them. And
like Jenna said, did you sort of learn anything from the experience?
Yeah, it was just eye-opening to finally see and hear what people and companies were doing. Normally I hear it secondhand, but to get proper insight into the planning stages from 2020, and to see some of the actions that were planned actually happening, and hearing from employees about how those differences are making an impact to them, that was a nice thing to learn about. But yeah, I think that was the main thing that really stood out for me.
Yeah, that's good. We know someone just said some stuff. It was good to hear some good stories or see some good change, because we don't hear enough of it. And why do you think organizations should apply?
Well, organizations are trying, I think, but I think it's about time that they're recognized as well, for their efforts. And, again, that whole idea of being on a podium, you've done all these actions, you've gotten onto a podium, you're being seen by your clients, your employees, which is very important, especially if you want to maintain retention. If you want to have retention of your ethnic minority staff, they need to see what you're doing. They need to hear about it. But importantly as well, job applicants and and candidates, that's part of the employer value proposition for a lot of companies now. They need to talk about what they're doing in terms of diversity if they want to get ethnically diverse people into their companies. So, and importantly, last thing is clients. These days, a lot of clients are asking what you're doing in terms of social value, and this is a real thing. This is where all the difference is going to be made. Because it not only impacts on the mental health and well-being of your ethnically diverse staff, which is a big thing in this day and age.
Brilliant, great. Thank you, Shirley, and thank you, Jenna. And I know a lot of the other judges are in the audience today, and there was over 20 judges involved in this, so all of them had a say in the whole process. And judging is once in a lifetime opportunity. So they did it once. Obviously, they can come back if they want to, but it's just you just do it once because we want diverse thinking throughout the whole thing. So thank you both for. I know you're not natural talkers and presenters, so we do appreciate you stepping up to the mark. You can go back to your spreadsheet now, Jenna. Okay. Thank you so much. So a couple of things. Next slide, please. That the judges are looking for. And I think they touched upon it. It's evidence of impact. It's not talking the talk. It's where's the evidence of impact, and actually how ethnically diverse colleagues are involved. Demonstrating how their voices are being heard and supporting evidence is recommended. That makes a difference, and that sometimes makes you a borderline. Sounds like a big impact, but where's the evidence that your colleagues are saying the same, and how senior leadership is engaged. Again, that was another important thing. So a couple of top tips. We want to help you get Trailblazer status. It's 64% got it, but we want to help people get it. So explain the work you've done as if you explain it for the first time. So don't assume the reader understands what you're doing, going to say. And the more information and evidence of impact you can provide, the better. More evidence is really important. At the moment, all applications will get feedback, and you saw that pie charts earlier, and then also comments from the judges say, I would like to see more of this and more of that. It's all anonymous from the judges, so you won't know which judges have said what, but you do get that back. So before the moment we've all been waiting for, the inaugural first wave of Trailblazers, what we'd like to do actually is a massive screenshot, if that's possible. Can we just have so we haven't given everyone a warning, but if you put your lippy on, that's fine, or move your hair or raise your eyebrows. So we'll take a few screenshots if that's okay. And then Emily, who's behind the scenes, will do a wonderful collage, and you'll be on LinkedIn later today. So obviously, if you want to see your photo, follow us on LinkedIn. If you don't want to see it, don't follow us. Okay, brilliant. So while that's coming through, I saw a couple of questions. This is not corporate. This is any organization, small, large, and everything. We all play a part in it. Emily, can you say when you've got them all?
Yep, got them. Thank you.
Oh, I see Delia and Catherine doing a double out there. So hello, Delia and Catherine. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Right. So I think it's time to see the Trailblazers.
And the first fantastic inaugural set of Trailblazers are for bronze, Network Rail, Mental Health First Aid England, Newham London, Amey PLC, Green Park, Metropolitan Thames Valley, and the GI Group. HS2, Northamptonshire Carers, and for My Name is Trailblazers, GI Group, CDS Cooperatives, West London College, and for Tea Break, Network Rail, Oxfordshire County Council, Doncaster Council, Hammersmith and Fulham. And for Safe Space, Amey and the Vale of Glamorgan.
So that's our first wave of Trailblazers. So congratulations to them all. And obviously we want to build on this list. What we're going to do, we're going to do some write-ups, sort of case study summaries of all these organizations. So you'll need to register with Race Equality Matters to get this information, and then we'll do some social media posts. So I'm just going to say, Claire, we did have a sort of summary here of what they've achieved, but I'm conscious of time. So if we can just go through these next slides, we were just going to give some examples of showing what they did and the impact they've had, which is staff improvements, better feedback from staff, greater retention, and even promotions, etc. So round two, there are limited places. As I said, you need to register your interest by the 12th of August. That doesn't guarantee a place, it's just to register your interest. And then we'll come back to you, and then it'll be application deadline of the 19th of September. So that's what we're working to. And then that's when we sort of sifting through it. And then I think end of September, early October, we then get the judges involved. So as you saw on the left is an example of one what the judging panelists will be looking at. Okay, so if we could just do a quick poll, and then we just say what's next in the calendar and what happens next for Trailblazers.
Thank you all. So 86% of you would recommend today's event to others, which is great. And we could appreciate, be good to hear from those who are unsure how we can make it better. But that's why we do these polls, to find out your open and honest opinions. So thank you all. In comparison to other diversity and inclusion initiatives, how effective would you rate the Trailblazer concept in tackling race inequality? Fantastic to see. It's like 75% more or significantly more effective, which is fantastic. And I guess that's testament to the community that's helped create the concept to make it make a difference. Question 3. What value do you think that being awarded Trailblazer status will hold, as it's been determined by an independent and ethnically diverse panel? So again, from good to great to significant deal, it's 91%. So 91% thinks it's really positive, which is really important. And thank you for that. And I hope the judges are noticing the difference that they would have made. Do you think it's more than an award? Yes, 73% say yes, which is fantastic. Only 4 say no. So again, really positive scores. And it's more than the award, as you can tell. It's all about keeping the momentum going. And yeah, we're really pleased that it's seen not just as a glittery, shiny trophy. And the other thing is, there's no winners, there's no losers. Everyone can be a Trailblazer if they're making the grade. Question 5. Would you like to be considered for a future Trailblazer judging panelist? So again, this is good more for our data. So 28% said yes, and 6% yes, but not for the audience. So 1 in 3 of you, and I appreciate it's not for everyone, and we'll be in touch with you soon. Question 6, would your organisation be interested in? So 48%, so nearly half of you applying to be a Trailblazer, 58% finding out more about Trailblazers, and 36% attending a how to apply workshop. So again, we will be in touch with you if we create that for you. Question 7, how helpful was it to hear from a judging panelist? So 91% saying good to excellent, which is fantastic. So again, a big thank you to Jenna and Shirley, and also the other judges who we'll hear from in the months to come. Question 8, do you think Trailblazers will help accelerate tackling race inequality? So tackling is good, but accelerate it. And as you can see, catalyst change to a great deal to significant is 71%. So 71% thinks it will help accelerate tackling race inequality. Question number 9, please indicate which may be of interest. So 52% applying to be a Trailblazer, 25% applying to be a Trailblazer judge, 34% posting jobs on a job board, and 55% finding out more about Trailblazers. So we'll come back to you on that. And question 10, Race Equality Week is coming up in February. Which theme titles do you think or do you prefer? So it's everyone business stands out, 47%, and everyone is responsible, 42%. Change happens together, 43%. So they're the ones that seem to stand out there. So once again, thank you all for your fantastic feedback, and that helps us build our events and provide the support and resources you will need. If you haven't already register on the Race Equality Matters website to be a member of the community, because that's when you get to know what's in the pipeline. Or follow us on social media, especially LinkedIn and Twitter. So we'll send these in the link, but that's the way you get to know about things first. And I said limited places for some things, etc. And there's over 10,000 in that community now. So upcoming events is we've got the Race Equality Week, 5 months to go. So there's no excuses, plenty of notice to get ready for Race Equality Week, then calling us the night before, what can we do? And Race Equality Week is in February, as you know, and then the Race Future Leads and so Race Network Leads and Future Leads end of September. We had one yesterday where we had more than 300 attendees for that. It's talking about getting ready for Black History Month. 94% said they had learned something new. So that shows, you know, what the speakers brought to the table, and 91% said they're going to implement one of the things they heard during Black History Month. So really, really helpful. And don't forget the jobs board. As I said, if you register for the jobs board in the next few weeks, you'll get a discount for thanking you for your time. So next slide, please. So a huge thank you again to our partners and sponsors. And as mentioned, we're not for profit. So if you want to support us, please do so. Of course, to our judges, the 2 that spoke, Jenna and Shirley, but also the judges that are in the audience or couldn't make it today. And I think 1 or 2 judges are here today when they're on holiday. So I don't know how to explain it to their other halves or their friends, but
obviously, we're delighted to have them here today. Also, congratulations to the first set of Trailblazers, including those that did apply. We appreciate you took your time in that, and hopefully from the feedback you can learn and take a next step. And also Race Equality Matters, Dion and Claire, who are behind the scene for all this, and they've done such a fantastic job supporting the applicants and the judges. So have to call them out, because you don't often see them. So thank you them. And so a big thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing your applications, whether to be a judging panelist or apply to be awarded for Trailblazer status. Remember, as Shirley and Jenna said, we want everyone to up their game. We want to accelerate progress, and we hope Trailblazers shows it's more than an award. Thank you all, and thank you to the team behind. I've got to say thank you, Jenna. Thank you, Shirley, and also a big, huge thank you to Claire and Dion, and Emily and Megan. Okay, thanks all, and have a good afternoon. Be in touch soon.